Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Diego Dario. In tonight's game plan, we get the latest updates from the Tokyo Olympics as a Philippine coach is set to be sent home after testing positive for COVID-19. We also get in touch with Filipino Olympic swimmer Remedy Rule as she prepares for what could be her final Olympic Games.
We'll also discuss what makes Chery, Tiggo, Perlas, and Choco Mucho exciting contenders in the Premier Volleyball League. And in the spirit of Giannis and the Bucks winning this year's NBA championship, we'll hand out our very own The Game Awards to some players and teams deserving of recognition. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Now, today's top story comes one day away from the opening ceremony of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. A positive case rocks Team Philippines after an unnamed coach tests positive for COVID. This despite the coach testing negative twice since their arrival at the Narita airport. Let's get the latest from our Olympics correspondent, Paulo Del Rosario. He joins us live from Japan. Pao?
Talk to you all again. Well, I was there at the Athletes Village a while ago, and the individual and close contacts have since been isolated at the clinic in the Athletes Village. Now, POC Committee President Representative Bambol Tolentino says the person involved will be sent home even if confirmatory tests are negative. This setback will only affect the training period of certain athletes but will not affect their participation in the actual games. Now, despite the positive case, the morale for Team Philippines remains high. 16 of the 19 Filipino athletes will be billeted at the Athletes Village, but the 3 golfers, namely Yuka Saso, Bianca Pagdanganan, and Juvic Pagunsan, will not be at the Athletes Village. They will be billeted at a hotel near their playing venue. Boom?
Thanks, Pao. It's good to see you, first and foremost. But also, we'd like to ask, kamusta yung mga athletes? Have you seen them, met them? And there's this rumor that I'm hearing about an injury. Can you confirm this?
Yeah, Boom. Looking at first of all, looking at the athletes, being able to speak to a few of them throughout the day, actually, and some of their coaches, they're all very excited for the Olympics. You know, despite it being under a cloud of the COVID-19 pandemic. And obviously, we also heard news about Kaloy Yulo having an injury so close to the competition. But then I got a chance to talk to the GAP president, Ms. Cynthia Carrion, and she says that it's nothing to worry about. There was an injury that may affect his routine and affect his difficulty scores. But then at the end of the day, they are saying that he is still a force to contend with and is still in the running for a gold in the floor event. But she's also saying that he's been doing so well that he might actually be a contender for an overall podium finish. But, you know, talking a bit about more of the athletes, I actually had the opportunity to talk to Ms. Remedy Rule, who is going to represent the Philippines in swimming. Now, she says that she would retire after this Olympic Games, despite this being her first. And, you know, leaving swimming is going to be a big decision for her. But she says that even though she hasn't stopped yet, she is already considering a comeback. Well, we'll get to hear more about her and from her own words in this conversation I had with Miss Remedy Rule. Looking at your own preparation so far, again, when you look online and read about you, you're saying, and the things written about you are saying that this could be your last Olympics even before it's begun. And if I'm not mistaken, right before we had this conference, right before we started rolling, you're actually already thinking of a comeback.
Well, I mean, this experience has been more than I could ever ask for. And like you've said, I haven't even started competing. And yeah, I've been having so much fun, and sometimes it's hard to sleep because I'm just the excitement I've had. So and I mean, I love swimming, so I think, yeah, that's why it's hard to be like, oh, maybe it is ending for me.
When you finally, you know, line up and when you're actually there at the venue, have you already thought of what emotions, what feelings will actually come over you? Because I'm sure that must be a momentous thing for you personally?
Yeah, just walking into the aquatic center for the first time, you know, I just got chills. I'm like, wow, and swimming in the pool, just saying to myself, I'm at the Olympics, I'm swimming at the Olympic pool, and just for this dream I've had for 15 years to finally come to fruition, I couldn't ask for anything more. And yeah, just talking about it now, I'm getting chills, and you can't see under the mask, but I'm smiling.
Words of encouragement or any message to all of the Filipino fans, not even just the Filipino fans, any of the Olympic fans out there who, you know, have read your story or curious to see what you can do here in the Olympics?
I guess for the Filipino fans, since they won't be spectators, you know, the last time I was representing the Philippines was at the SEA Games, so just envisioning that crowd, because it was felt a lot of love and support. And then for everybody else, I guess just the Olympics is a really special thing to come together, and I guess, yeah, just thank you for Japan and everybody else who helped make it happen a year later, and with all the restrictions and things. So
Remedy, thank you. You're a joy to talk to, and you know, you've been practicing your modulation, and it's working very well. I think we got everything that we needed there. So thank you very much, and we hope that you have a great Olympics.
yeah, thank you.
Well, Philippine rower Chris Nevares will open the Philippines campaign here in the Tokyo Olympics, and of course later in the evening tomorrow it will be the opening ceremonies. Boom.
Maraming salamat, Pao. And that was Paulo Del Rosario giving us the latest live from the 2020 Tokyo Olympics in Japan. Signal TV and TV5, along with Smart and PLDT, are the official broadcasters of the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. And you can watch the Olympic Games from July 23 to August 8 on TV5, One Sports, One Sports Plus, Signal Play, PLDT, and Smart. When we return, PVL analyst Mosh Cruz tells us why Chery, Tiggo, Perlas, and Choco Mucho are exciting contenders to watch in the Premier Volleyball League. Keep it here, you're watching The Game. You're still watching The Game. I'm Boom Gonzalez. We've seen 9 amazing teams compete in the Premier Volleyball League. With the announcement that the Perlas Spikers are cleared to play in the PVL, we are just about to witness the full potential of the very first and only professional volleyball league for 2021. And tonight, volleyball analyst Mosh Cruz joins us to talk about the most exciting league contenders in the PVL. Mosh, it's good to meet you, even if it's like this. Welcome to The Game.
Hi, Mosh.
Hi, Boom. Hi, Diego. Thanks for having me here.
All right, Mosh. So we've seen 9 teams so far, as Boom mentioned. And how's the PVL so far for you? And how are the superstars delivering, in your opinion, Mosh?
The PVL is just a blessing for everyone. We are in a pandemic, and I believe sports can bring joy, or should I say a breather. And it became better because now it's a professional league and all the superstars are here playing. Also, we got 6 game days per week. So that's almost every day may inaabangan yung mga tao. And if it's not a game day, of course, they can still watch the replay, you know.
That's right. You know, today we had the first 5-setter. Kanina, katatapos lang in the first game of today's doubleheader. So, more excitement to come. I expect a lot of more exciting things as the games go by because the quality is even going to get better as these teams mesh together. Now, going back to your teams, let's start with team number 1. Who are you looking out for?
I think Chery Tiggo is exciting this conference. With Chery Tiggo, they have the Santiago sisters. Well, Dindin and Jaja, they have always been one of the Philippine volleyball's pride. And when they played in Japan, everyone was just so happy for them. Lalo na nung nag-champion si Jaja with Ageo Medics. And we've seen Chery Tiggo play in this conference, and I could really say, and I could really see rather, the adaptation. Si Jaja, when she played in Japan, mataas yung percentage niya because of the tempo of the sets in Japan. And now that her setter is Nabor, na nakalaro din niya sa NU before, I think the adjustment is just really easy for them. And playing in an international league is a huge, huge boost, to get that experience, that kinds of trainings, their discipline, and of course, the mindset. Now, the best takeaway, I think, is they can also influence their teammates as well na yung mga best practices na nakuha nila sa Japan.
All right, so now that we know that, Jaja and Dindin had so much experience in Japan, that's a different experience now that they're back here. What's the effect of having a teammate like Jaja or Dindin on that court when, let's say, you're playing with them?
Well, besides them being an asset now in the team, they are also an inspiration to their teammates. And as I mentioned earlier, they can really influence them, with the best practices, with the attitude and the right mindset. With it becomes to playing, especially na now na nasa bubble sila, they have to be tough. And I think makukuha na yun kay Jaja and kay Dindin.
They're actually playing right now, as you know, Mosh, no? The game just started, the match just started against the Valley Pure Water Defenders. And the good thing about this, if I may just add to what you said, Diego, you know this in basketball, even if you have like two dominant players, the perception, the last two games, they haven't been the ones who are really dominant. There are a couple of other players of the game, which is a great sign for Chery Tiggo. Now, let's go to your next team. Who's your next choice?
My next choice is Choco Mucho, one of the most exciting team here in PVL. Now that Bea has recovered, their big three is now complete. If you'll remember, they were not able to maximize Bea last conference.
Yes.
For injuries, and when she got back, she wasn't still 100%. They also had Kat Teluntino, and she surprised everyone with her performance. She got a couple of 30-point games last conference, and while Maddie remains one of the fearsome middles in the league, even through the addition of the other middles, I think this Choco Mucho has really something in this conference, and since almost half of them bago kasi sila it would really depend on the chemistry on and off the court. And they had a game yesterday, boom.
Yes.
On the first game, they only had 4 blocks. But we could understand that. Maybe meron silang first game jitters. But I'm really looking forward to see those monster blocks from Maddie, Bea, Kat in the future. Because skills-wise, they are already there. These are multi-awarded players and they already have crowns. But since they are now playing in the professional league, they need to prove themselves more.
Now that you mentioned the big three of Choco Mucho, what can you say about the support that Denden Lazaro, Revilla, and Diana Wong are adding to this squad?
It's a different story now because they already have Diana Wong and naging setter na rin to ni Kat, Bea, and Maddie before. And you also have Denden, who is super hardworking. So defensively, for me, they are a very scary team. And I think Nina will be a big of help offensively as well.
All right. They came up with a win. They looked shaky at the start, but they came up with a win, and that's the most important thing. And Coach O was saying that they got a lot to work on. Remember, that was their first game. Sila nakalaro na, Mosh. May isang team na hindi pa nakakalaro. Sunday will be their debut, and we're waiting for that. Your thoughts on Perlas Spikers?
This team naman, Perlas Spikers, they have been through a lot of obstacles coming into this conference. Yeah. But they have been really strong. I actually got to talk to Jem and she said na siguro hindi pa nila time last week maglaro and because of the break then from the bubble. But what happened really made them individually stronger, emotionally and physically. And sabi nga ni Jem that when they got the text na negative na sila lahat and they are all cleared to play, they just can't describe the feeling, the emotions are just overflowing. And they want to thank everyone actually who prayed for them. And you mentioned nga na they're going to play on Sunday. And I'm sure everyone is just so thrilled to see them. And I think lahat ng teams, no, gusto din silang makalaban agad.
Well, Mosh, we all know na syempre na-delay nga yung start nila this season. But how do you think this delay will affect them when they finally play that first game?
Well, they are so ready and so eager to play. I know that they would make the fans happy on Sunday. They are just getting ready to battle it out. We know naman na nandyan yung giggle, nandyan yung pressure, nandyan yung excitement all at the same time. But seeing how these ladies are so professional, I bet they would give us an exceptional game on Sunday.
If you're a fan of Perlas Spikers, you're excited. There are 10 new players, but are you also going to be nervous about chemistry issues, knowing that there was no tune-up games and all of these things? Mosh, what do you think?
That's right. They have a lot of new players like the liberos from Adamson, which will boost their floor defense for me. And they have Karangdang to replace Kathy Bersola. Kathy actually trained with them. Unfortunately, she cannot join the bubble because of her internship. Kasi, diba, it's very strict when it comes to in and out. So right now, there's Karangdang to replace her. Also, Joel Maraginot and Michelle Morente. I think this is an interesting reunion.
Yes.
And just like Choco, Mucho, really, we all know that they are so talented. It's a matter of getting that chemistry work and just a good combination of players. I think they are one of the teams to watch here in this conference.
I can't wait to see Joe Maraginot fly again, and I can't wait to work with you finally, Mosh. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Mosh.
Thank you, Boom. Thank you, Diego.
And after the break, as we close out the 2021 NBA season, we'll hand out our very own The Game Awards to some players and teams who may or may not have exceeded expectations. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. Now, once again, congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks and their fans for winning the 2021 NBA Championship. Now, in light of the Bucks winning the chip, we would like to give our very own The Game NBA Playoff Awards to certain teams and players who deserve our recognition. Joining us for our discussion, welcoming him back tonight, REPUBLIKA HUDDLE host NIKKO Ramos and my NBA Hype co-partner, analyst, MVP, CC, CAMILLE CLARIN, I think is with us. If she is, I hope she is. Straight from Toronto. If not, well, it's Nico, myself, and Diego. Oy, wala si CC. Okay, Diego, let's talk to Nico about this whole thing. Let's get to the awards that we have. We have, I think, 5, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get to the first one. The most promising playoff run.
Obviously the Milwaukee Bucks got the most out of the playoffs, but most promising for me is definitely the Atlanta Hawks as a 5 seed, and the way that they were able to handle themselves in big games, playing the villain role on most of those road games, and so really surprising people, dismantling the storybook New York Knicks, returning to the playoffs. And then shocking the 1 seed in the second round, and then even pushing the Milwaukee Bucks in moments in the East Conference Final. So I think that the Hawks are definitely most promising for me in the playoffs.
For this one, Nico, I had the Phoenix Suns actually for the most promising playoff run.
Ooh, wait, speaking of the Phoenix Suns, let's bring in CC, Camille. CLARIN is with
Hi,
us.
CC.
In classic
Hi,
CC
guys.
fashion,
Oh
she
my
comes in
God.
with a bang.
Yeah. Sorry,
okay.
I thought they'd include me.
Okay, you guys talk it out. You were saying Phoenix Suns. Okay, you.
Yeah, how about CC? What team did you have for this one? Most promising playoff run. For
I
this season?
had Phoenix / Atlanta because obviously you can't deny, who obviously what Atlanta did, but obviously, I'm going to go for the Suns as I've had for the entire show and the entire playoff run, just because of what they did the entire playoff run. Obviously, they kind of, probably lost that momentum and kind of used it too much at the beginning and didn't have enough at the end. But regardless, it was an extremely promising playoff run, and hopefully next year we see the same thing.
Standing by her choice. You said Phoenix. Nico said Atlanta. I think I voted on this one too. I said Atlanta.
So it's
What's
2-2.
your what was your defense for that?
Mine was the Phoenix Suns because it's their first playoff run in a long time. They were 8-0 in the bubble last season, but they fell short to make it to the playoffs. This one, it's Devin Booker's first playoff run. They got to the finals right away with CP3, but they fell short to a Milwaukee Bucks team who were very healthy actually compared to the other teams that they played against.
Except for that guy who played on one leg the first two games. Come on now, come on! Most disappointing.
Still at 50 though.
Most disappointing playoff run. Let's start with Nico. Back to you.
Well, I start in the East, and I start with the reason why the Hawks were so impressive to me. The Philadelphia 76ers as a one seed, if you scale it to an 82-game season, they would have been a 57-win team with their playoff percentage, and they had a healthy team, and they just could not get it done. I think it's most disappointing for them because to not even make it to the East Final and to not even get that rematch with the Milwaukee Bucks, who by the way they had a good disposition towards. They felt like they were a team that was ready to put that wall in front of Giannis and get through him. And they had been preparing all season long with Doc Rivers taking over that head coaching role for a deep playoff run, and I think there's not one person in that organization that was happy with how their season ended in the second round.
But let me just say, it is the LA Lakers who won the voting for this one. Now remember, there is a voting. You all voted. I voted with a lot of our other friends. Earlier, Atlanta won. LA won this one. But Nico is going with Philadelphia. That's what he thinks. I'll go with Camille first. The Lakers won in this round, but what was your vote? And what do you say about the Lakers? Ooh, I can't wait to hear this one.
Well, I think the New York Knicks for this one.
Okay.
Just because obviously they had a lot of momentum coming into the playoffs. But, our Lakers, I know we have a lot of Lakers fans in the game production. So, honestly, everyone was thinking they'd just breeze by the Phoenix Suns, and obviously a lot of people were wrong. But obviously, Father Time's calling LeBron James. He was not healthy. Obviously, Anthony Davis played a huge part in that. But, let's not take away any credit from the Suns. The Los Angeles Lakers, it's not their time. Got to do a little recruiting over this, the end of the season because, LeBron's coming back stronger.
Well, I actually had the Lakers on this one.
You had the Lakers,
so
you
Lakers?
Yeah, the majority vote was the Lakers, and your reasoning is?
Because, they're the defending champs. LeBron James, still one of the best players in the NBA, is still there. And I actually hoped for them to beat that Phoenix Suns in the first round, even though Anthony Davis wasn't healthy. We'll never know what could have happened if Anthony Davis was healthy and then they moved on to the next round. But for me, that was the most disappointing one. But I'm still excited what they're going to do for the next season.
All right, so the Lakers won this one. I voted just for the heck of it. I voted Miami. The second one to the Lakers. Unsung Hero Award. All right, I know you guys voted. Drew Holiday was the Unsung Hero Award winner. Among the votes, he got the most. I'll start with Camille this time. Let's start with Camille. Who did you vote for, and what do you think about Drew Holiday as the winner?
Chris Middleton was my vote, but obviously Drew Holiday was almost almost played a similar role. I think Chris Middleton definitely had more of the closers in their playoff run, but Drew Holiday was, I think we have a lot of Drew Holidays in our lives. The people who are willing to get down and dirty, not always having the spotlight, but he definitely showed up when he needed to. Even if he made a couple of mistakes, he definitely made an effort to always correct them the next play right on over, and he always kept a great attitude. And I think he definitely brought some positive energy to that team. And overall, he's just a great player, great person, and definitely coming from a family of champions.
All right, Nico, Drew won this round, but who did you vote for?
Well, I think I helped in Drew winning this round because he has my vote. You go across the board, his playoff averages and his finals average are almost exactly the same. That's 17.6 rebounds, 9 assists. In the playoffs, into the finals, 17.6 rebounds, 9 assists. We're not talking about, and with all due respect to the other role players on either team on the finals, but this isn't Jay Crowder, this isn't Cam Johnson, this isn't a PJ Tucker stat line. 17, 6, and 9 at any level is enough to sing about. And also, Drew Holiday is one of the rarest players in the NBA, which is top-level elite perimeter defender. In an era where the talent at that guard and playmaking position is at an all-time high that we've never ever seen before in the NBA. Drew Holiday is one of those guys that in single coverage can contain the Chris Pauls and the Devin Bookers of the world, and they're champions because of him.
Okay, I have to move on, Jago. I know you voted Drew Holiday too.
I agree with what Nico said.
All right, we have a couple of minutes left here, so we got to run. I voted for Brook Lopez just because I thought it was funny. Next face of the NBA award, the winner was Giannis Antetokounmpo. If he's not the face yet, well, he's the next face. I'll agree with that. That is the winner. Jago, I'll start with you. Who did you vote for, and what do you think about that?
Well, I actually had Luka Doncic on this one.
Okay.
Because I was really looking at like the super far future. Luka's younger than Giannis, but I think Giannis right now is already the face of the NBA, and I would call Luka as the next face of the NBA.
Okay, Camille, what about you?
I picked Giannis just because, obviously he won the championship and his personality is going to take the league to another place. And it's time for a foreign player to kind of be, the face of the NBA.
That's a good point. All right, let's move to the last one. If we weren't injured, we'd be champs. Award, the winner, the Brooklyn Nets. If anybody answered anything else, I will be very disappointed. Nico, please tell me it was Brooklyn.
Well, it is Brooklyn. Although a small part of me wanted to say the Lakers, but at night.
No, that's not a small part. That's a big part of me, I bet.
No, but seeing how the Nets were 9-2 when all three of those guys played together and were healthy, that part of me that wanted to vote for Lakers got smaller and smaller and smaller every night because I was just so frightened of those three. And yeah, the league is in trouble if those guys stay together and are healthy.
Jago?
I mean, basically they're an all-star team, Boom. Three Hall of Famers in one team with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. I don't think, if they were healthy, I think they would make it all the way to the finals.
I think Camille's very happy that they didn't make it to the finals, but I'm just assuming that. Camille, your thoughts. You get the last word.
Yeah, honestly, we all knew it. They were a centimeter away from making the NBA finals, and that was just such a, different roster compared to what they actually hoped for. So obviously it's the Brooklyn Nets. Come on, God.
Yeah, she's out of quarantine. She's happy, regardless of what happens. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Camille and Nico.
Thank you,
guys.
All right, before we go, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics officially begins tomorrow. Watch all the Olympic action on TV5. One Sports Plus, Signal Play, PLDT, and Smart. Diego Dario here. Thank you for watching.
And don't forget to catch us again tomorrow. I'm Boom Gonzalez, and this has been The Game.